Eric
Yeah.
Got some work to do later. Too much Seco, though. Can't quite get comfortable. You guys ready to go, though? 1, 2, 3 to the full. Yeah, it doesn't sound right when I say it, huh? 1, 2, 3 and to the full. No. All right, well then let's just say, let's get to going. Let me move this around. Let me put that there. You know what I also didn't do? Hang on, I got to pop a page open here. I forgot. I've only been doing this every day for 20 years. Try this one. No, wrong one. Hang on. Why did I do what I did? Why did I do what I did? Let's try this. 1, 2, 3 into. All right. I have to go there. I have to go live. Sorry, I can't do two things, work and stream at the same time. Work and play, too difficult for me. There we go. All right, so let me move that over there. Now I can see the chat. Now I can pop polls. I can pop pills. No, I don't pop pills. All right, there we go. Okay, I think that'll work. Will that work for you? That'll work for me. Let me adjust my chair. Oh, that's a little different. All right, cool. All right, good morning. Or as they say, hello, 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 how are ya? How's your mum? Welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of former supermodels and currency traders. Yeah, supermodels turned currency traders. Thank you for being here. It's early in the morning. I'm on hour 4 of trading. No, that's not quite true. Hour 3 of trading. Right on, right on. It's a Thursday. It's a great day to be a trader. Yeah, we have weekly jobless claims. Yeah. And we got some other things going on. But really, we're looking toward the Fed meeting coming up in a few weeks. Yep. And we're trying to figure out risk on or risk off or kind of in between catalyst, if you're looking for one particular catalyst or the other. Yeah, well, mixed markets. Some risk off in the short run, maybe risk on in the long run. We'll see. But the most important thing is we are here to handle all this complexity together. So thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for clicking the thumbs up button. Thank you for leaving comments on the recordings, all to tell YouTube that this is quality content and it should be shared. My name is Wayne. I'm a trader like you. I am here to serve you. These streams are free and I've been doing them for about 20-something years, but only 17 years on YouTube. And why only 17 years on YouTube? That's when YouTube was invented. So my first video on YouTube was within 6 months of YouTube starting, and it was before Google bought it. That's how long I've been doing YouTube, but I was doing videos like this before YouTube. So I do want to help. And I've learned a few things over all these years. So if you ask questions and get involved, maybe we'll discover something new together, or I'll share something new together. So I'll let you be the boss. Cool. And with that being said, let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term. Never risk money you cannot afford to lose. So what is it that you want to cover today? I've been basically scalping the last couple of days, waiting and waiting and waiting. Some interesting things might be developing. Let me know. JP said, did you get on to the peso? Yeah, I did actually. Yeah. Cool. Yep. So anywho, yeah, so tell me what you want to cover today, or are we just going to tread water and kind of do our thing? JP's like, great price. Well, that's just the 5A cross. Yeah. And 17.5 is really what it is, right? So I'm short again. Mexican peso, 17.5 again. Again. Yeah, some of these assets have been challenging, let's say, like oil's been challenging and peso's been challenging, right? You got to try and try again. Just keep managing your risk, and eventually you'll get it. That's the thought. So anyways, we can just get on with it. Yep, cool. So, yeah. I'm doing a party. I think I've decided to do a party. You guys want to come to a party? December 13th, 5:30 p.m. in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll do a cocktail event, and then we'll do a dinner. Will you come to Nashville? So I've started a group called the Council of Investment Advisors, and we have a board meeting that day. And I figured that after the board meeting, it'd be great if we just had a cocktail hour. So, it'd be great if there was a couple of dozen people where we can get together, have some cocktails, and then have a nice steak dinner. They'll have tomahawk chops. They'll have Wagyu. And if you like it, chicken or salmon, I'm sure. But it'll be a nice dinner in a nice restaurant. And you won't need to drive, all that kind of stuff. Once you're at the hotel, it'll be warm and tropical. So I'm going to try to put together some information quickly, and we have about 98 days for you to get prepared, book your hotel room, or, well, let me know. I think what I'm going to do is book the room so that you get a better price. You'll probably save a couple $100 if I do it. So, because you probably land that day and then leave the next day. So is that one night? I guess that's only one night, huh? Yeah. You might do one night or 2 nights, right? So anyways, the board will have to do 2 nights. Cool. So anyways, I hope to see you there. All right. So, and the reason for it is I was talking to the hotel about the CIA meeting that we're doing. And I'm like, I want to do this special thing and I want to do that special thing. And they're like, if you only got 8 to 10 people, there's nothing special we can do. Like, dude, we have families bigger than that. That's just a regular group. That's not anything where you can like rent this or rent that, or get a private room. Like I want a private dining room, and I want I want a special menu. And they're like, we're not going to do that for 10 people. If you had 16 to 20 people, we'll do it. I'm like, okay, so that's why we're on a mission now. So let's get like 20 people together and do something really cool. We're probably close to halfway there anyways, so. Cool. Let's move on.com. Guess we'll do, what do you want to do? Some gold. All right, so here I am in scalping mode on gold. Can we do Beast? Yeah, I'll do Beast. Yeah, I was setting that up for scalping. I've been waiting for days, basically. So Stan, my man, yeah, I got you. Okay, so anyways, this is the turn of events, double bottom. And now she's heading north. Did I just do this one? I did. I'll leave that one there. Okay. Cool. So on a fiver, you can see you can be a bull again. This is what I mean by scalping. This whole green section says, get long, son. Papa Market says, get long, son. Cool. Skippity scalp. Favor says, do footsie. UK 100 stocks. Just put FTSE. Financial Times Stock Exchange. Okay, and pig dog. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Okay, so that's interesting, right? Zoom out a little bit and you'll see where we are. We got to get through this resistance, right? So if you're long off the bottom here, this is where you jam on the stop. There's a high propensity for that right now. So the risk is increased. Okay. So be prepared for that. If I go further out, like hourly, you can see what I got going. Okay. You see what I got going mentally? Now, obviously, this could be heading down lower, obviously, right? You can, from these highs, and now this lower high. So you can see the trend I already have identified. I guess I'll use my drawing tool. You can see there's a trend on the chart marked this way, right? So you can see like there could be a down like this or an up and a down like that. There could be, there might be, that might happen. Yep. Technically, I'm trying to get long fundamentally. So my rationale doesn't even live on this chart. But what this chart shows is the vulnerability of the strategy. Okay, cool. So I will manage my risk appropriately when I get there. Okay. So there could be a down. Up would be better for me. Up would be better for me. Here's another scalp situation. We're on that that support. Okay. Okay. Very bearish. Okay. Very bearish right now. Bearish high. Okay. Bearish high. Bearish high. Okay. So what we'll need to see is a bullish bottom followed by a move like this, followed by a move like that, and then, okay, and we use this now as a bullish bottom. You see? Bearish highs versus bullish bottoms. Well, we're not there yet, are we? Yeah. Joseph. Yeah, crypto, man. Crypto. So anyway, so that's what I'm looking for, but it's not happening now. So you're like, so what's the big worry, Wayne? Why would you even sit there? Well, dude, this area that I have highlighted in this other color is risk for you bears. So even if you're a bear, you should pucker up, buttercup. Okay? Cool. Okay? So there's a fiver. So I'll be sitting around watching that for now. Lower lows should set up lower highs. But if it double bottoms, that'll set up higher lows. So I wait. Okay, cool. I'm watching WTI on a fiver as well. Okay, and we are in a buy zone, but I was hoping for some sort of pullback. But right now, hope is not a strategy. So what's plausible on this one is this can still be the move of the day. But as you can see, a healthier pullback would be, on the longer term, on the longer run, healthy. Right? Okay, cool. Pavel said Poland cut. Is that right? Yeah, I noticed the zloty, the move on the zloty was pretty dramatic. I know. By the way, isn't it funny, like currency traders hanging out like this? Like Pavel's like, oh man, did you see the interest rate cut yesterday in Poland? And I'm like, no, I never saw it, but I did see the volatility on the zloty, and that makes sense. You're like, wait. Like, I'm not even joking, like these charts behind me. One of them was the Polish zloty. I looked at it and I'm like, all right, well, that's the end of that move. And I actually changed it. I got rid of my zloty trade this morning. Or not the trade, sorry, the chart this morning. And Pavel's like, well, yeah. Well, that was the interest rate cut. I'm like, oh, okay, well. So, anyways, what an interesting world. What a life, huh? That we live. So anyways, going back to oil, this is still in the potential. And if we bring this down and we start stepping these down, then we'll have the bigger pullback. Cool. So today we might get long. This might be a scalpy scalp long later today, or we walk. Yeah, St. Kitts is like, yeah, very. It's a confusing cigar for me. They made it Maduro, but there's too much Seco in here. It's a weird blend. I wouldn't have done it that way if I were me. Need some Lajero, bro. All right. Yeah, so anyways, that's what's going on. There's your gold, your oil, and your stock market in the form of S&P 500. We have a request for FTSE. Yeah, I can do FTSE for you. We'll do the global stocks. Sure, some FTSE. Wow. Yeah. So we didn't quite tickle the weekly projected bottom. and we're caught on the monthly central pivot. So it's sort of like where the price that we're at now is bearish. But this is bullish. This is bearish. Okay? And we'll see what happens in here. So if you're a bull, you're probably going to want this in the next day or two. And if you're a bear, you're going to tear that down. So it's going to come up. It's going to breach probably fairly quickly and then down this way. So this 744444 area, yeah, it's important. So I can't tell you direction because there's two different forces going on here. One is this way, and they bought. And there's going to be, you know, sort of these guys. And you're at their selling point. So see, like the bears involved on this, they're going to sell here and they're going to sell here. That's where they live. That's where all their orders are. And you're like, how can you see their orders? Well, if you know how to trade, like think of it this way. If you know how to trade, you know where all the orders are. Okay? So like, why do I think there are orders there? Well, look, did you look this far? Look. It's all sell orders. Tons of them. So if you're a buyer, okay, you connected all of this, and that's your floor. If it goes higher, and that's a big if, then this is what you're planning moving forward. So we know where the bears are, and we know where the bulls are. There probably is more bears than bulls unless the bears exit. There's not a lot of reason for bulls to be buying at the moment unless the bears exit. But we don't know if the bears have exited, but we'll know if there's a higher high because it won't be probably a lot of buying volume, but there'll be a lot of bearish exits, which will push it up. And then the bulls will get involved on a breakout to here, and suddenly bulls are now coming in. So this is a bearish exit. And we may be, some bulls, we pick up some bulls here, but mostly this would be bearish exit, and then pick up some more bulls here. So, it's a process. It's a process. We're not quite there yet, so we have to, accumulate some more buyers if you think this is going to go north. On Hell says, what amount of time is considered a fractal period? So remember, I'm self-taught. So my termination or my definition of fractal is probably different from others. So I don't know if I have a fair answer for that because, look, you change the chart and the fractal period changes. It's like the difference between a day trade and a swing trade. The difference is the periodicity. But there might be a specific answer that you're looking for, a specific answer like on a fractal indicator. And I just don't even think that way. Meaning, I don't follow a technical indicator that closely. And so maybe if you are watching someone else on YouTube that is using fractals, there's probably a fractal as an indicator. There's probably a very astute level of adjustment that you would make for that. But like the way I think about things is I say, what's the central bank in the UK doing? Okay, they're raising interest rates. They have high inflation at 7%, but they're worried about GDP being 0.2. Sorry, 0.2. And they're worried about raising interest rates too far and making their GDP go negative. But currently it's not negative, so they're going to raise interest rates at least one more time, maybe multiple times. And so that should attract a carry trade. Therefore, there is some potential for bullishness on the Great British Pound, even though that's sort of a negative economic situation. So I create a framework for that. Then I go look for the pound. Okay? And so, like, can I use a fractal in there? Well, an example of a fractal would be like, I think this would be, I think this would fit what you're looking for. These little swing points are fractals, essentially. And are they correct? Yeah. But if I change it from a 4-hour to a 1-hour, is that correct? Yep. If I change it to a 15-minute, is that correct? Yeah. But the fractals keep changing, so which one is correct? And to me, they're all correct. What changes for me is what style of trading am I going to employ now? Is it research? So like on a daily, I could just be doing research and say, well, I see a double bottom, or fractals see a double bottom on this FTSE. You can also connect, you can see there's a fractal here and a fractal there, and then this fractal. And you can say, well, now we're above that fractal and we're bullish. Is that correct? Well, it is correct, yeah. Okay. It is correct on this time frame. So are we going to go higher? So I could say, well, as long as we're above this fractal, yeah, we're going to go higher. So now, what should I do? Should I drop into an hour or a 15-minute? Well, it depends. Time of day, type of trade. Am I going to swing trade or am I going to day trade this? Am I going to do a market open? Oh, am I going to do a market open? So let's do a market open. And we can drop into like a 15-minute chart and look at these fractals. Okay, you see, there's one there, one there, one there, one there, and then we're on the bottom. So as long as we're above that black line that I just drew, which is a fractal, I can rally this up. I don't think I answered your question on hell, because I wouldn't tweak an indicator, like change the fractal period to get a strategy. That's not how I form a strategy. So I just don't even think that way. So I come up with my strategy first. Then I decide what kind of trade I want to make. And then I drop into the time frame that is conducive of that type of trade. You know, if I'm scalping, it's probably a 5-minute chart. If I'm day trading, 15-minute chart. If I'm swing trading, an hourly chart. All of that is tactics. When I'm doing my strategy, it's 4-hour and daily and macro. Okay. Sahil says, Wayne, I was just thinking to myself, this is good. You have a lot of discipline and faith in life, and I'm pretty sure that the universe will reward you big one day. I've learned a lot from you until now, and thanks. Absolutely, totally my pleasure. Thank you for that, Sahil. Yeah, so I appreciate that. And in particular, the good karma. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, sharing is important to me. It always has been. So again, on hell, again, I don't think I gave you the answer you wanted or needed, but that is my answer, and I hope it helped in some weird way. Still a lot of risk off. Come on, Bubba. Gee whiz, why is everybody so upset right now? Gee whiz. So look at that coming down. So what do we get? A good number on jobless claims? See, all this good news is bad news. So what do we have? A real hot? What? That dollar is strong. Oh, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, yeah. See, such a it's such a good number. It's so bad. So I talked about it in the Quant Box video this morning. Oh, thank you, Angel. So let me say it again. I'm going to throw a party December 13th, 98 days from now. Cocktails at 5:30, dinner at 7. Have, let's say, 20 people, 25 people. What do you think? You won't have to drive. You won't have to Uber. Just show up at the hotel. Okay? I'll arrange to get a discount for the hotel for you so you can save, $100 or $200 a night. And I'll reserve a private area for us to gather. I'll arrange for a private dinner room, so we have a nice, quiet, private place for us to meet and talk. And James, yeah, we follow that very closely. Yes. It'll be the Opryland Hotel, Maida. I haven't signed the contract yet. I've been in negotiations and such for a couple of days. But again, I will arrange it. So I think it's usually like $500 a night, and I think I can get it down to like the 250 to 280 price range. But I have to sign the contract and all that kind of stuff. So we're not quite there, right? Okay, anyways, that's very bearish. Boo. I really didn't want to see that, but I'll tell you, I've been waiting for days, basically. So yesterday I was thinking about buying the S&P 500, and it collapsed, and I waited all day and never got a 21.55 cross. Okay. And then almost had an opportunity here, and then, okay, notice that this is exactly the sell price. Now, I haven't reversed my pivots, but I know this is the sell zone. So you can see we had that pullback yesterday just to the sell zone, and then bump, bump, bump. So I've been on this 5-minute chart for like 2 days and haven't got a buy signal yet. It's hard, man. It's hard. Well, guys, for those that can't come to the meeting because you're too far away, I do plan on doing international trips next year. I have to go to London. I have to go to somewhere in Asia. Hong Kong, I like. I like Hong Kong. Yeah, somewhere. Singapore. Malaysia, actually, my friend Vishen lives in Malaysia. I definitely would give him yeah, like, dude, I'd go to Malaysia. Let's just put it that way. I'd go to Malaysia. Do you know Vishen Lakiani? The last time I saw him in person is almost exactly 25 years ago, which is actually stunning. It's stunning so much time has gone by. We were kids, man. We were kids. And I'm way overdue. So anyways, yeah, I'd go to Malaysia for sure. Cigar smelling better and better. So anyways, I'm really bummed because I want to buy that, but that's okay. So one of the things I'm working on is this group called the CIA, and we're going to meet this month for the September Fed meeting. So I'm going to put together some training on hedge fund strategies, and equities, and I might somehow fold it in and make like a summer school type course. How many people here would be interested in stock indices trading, and then take it a little further and not just stock trading, but maybe hedge fund style strategies? Would you guys want a course on that? I really have to put some thought into it because it's complicated, and how do I fold it into a train of thought, you know? Okay, so anyways, ASX coming down. So boo. I guess we need to go to the yens. And we had somebody asked about Beast. I'm also on a 5-minute chart on the Beast, and I'm not ready to buy it yet. I'm getting closer, but I've been waiting all day and I don't have an opportunity. Okay? So it's trending down, but we are at the right price to expect maybe some up, but not with the stock market falling. So once again, I'm sitting and I'm waiting. I wouldn't sell this if I was a bear, and I'm a bull, but I'm not going to buy it. So again, I have to wait. Either way, I have to wait. If somebody sells this, they're recognizing the trend. They don't see that they're losing volume and volatility. And they also have ignored the fact that they're at support. So a bear, especially a short-term scalping bear, probably should just be taking profit. But if they did that, then that leaves some vulnerability for me to be a bull a little bit later. So somebody's got to make a mistake. And my mistake would be being too conservative. Someone else's mistake might be lose money. So I'm neither here nor there, but I'm getting ready. Okay? It's definitely still bearish, and that's why I can't buy it. It's just bearish at support is not a great opportunity. Okay. I think I was scalping this earlier today. I think I was in this one earlier today. Let's see. No, it wasn't this one then. Aussie? Would I have gone long Aussie? No. Kiwi? No. Euro? No. I mean, we can take a look at Euro. And yeah, it's rangy and it's not breaking out. Yeah. Like, so if you're long down here, yeah, you're hanging on by a thread. So anyways, yeah, it's not a great trade either way. So Skippy, I pass. Beast is not quite ready. Yes, nothing's quite ready yet. I thought I was on one of these, but I think I was risking 10 pips. I think it was up 10 pips and I had my stop was minus 10. So, you know, no conviction whatsoever. And I don't even remember which one. Maybe it wasn't one of these. Was it gold maybe? No. Did we do gold? I think we did gold and oil. Yeah, we did. Yeah, okay, I remember that one. Yeah, and gold coming down right off the top. Oh, yeah, look at that. All right, definitely take a walk for now. Now that was, ooh. Again, what this had to do, so let me make sure we understand the narrative here. Very few people applied for unemployment. Very few people this week lost a job. That's very good news. But that's bad because it says to the world a couple of things, depending on their interpretation. One, the Fed is going to raise interest rates one more time this year. Now, I would have argued, or I have argued all year, we already know that, but not everybody knows that. We know it, but other people don't. And then suddenly they're like, wait, what? The Fed's going to have to raise one more time. That's the first part. That strengthens the dollar. The second part is other people start to interpret that the Fed will not cut interest rates next year. Well, hell's bells. Okay, and that would strengthen the dollar. So we got to get through this a little bit. And I think it's just early in the hunting season. See, I'm hunting buffalo. And my number one job is to find the buffalo. The second thing is don't stand in front of the herd. And then third, pick on the weak, the sick, the young, the old. And not everything is there quite yet. So I wait. And the narrative might change. Maybe it doesn't. I think the narrative is going to be dictated by what the Fed says in a couple of weeks. Cool. Well, I don't want to get run over by a bear in this case, so I will wait. And that's what that narrative is, so that you understand. Well, the narrative can change fairly quickly. This is a 50% pullback on gold. Okay. And this could develop still. There's nothing to freak out about on 50%. Okay. But look, if you're a skippity scalper, okay, let's say even on an hourly chart, you can see that this is not bullish. And so if you're on a 5-minute scalping, you're scalping in a downtrend. And so scalping up in a downtrend isn't ideal. What I showed earlier today was that what we need, okay, remember, and I think I I must have done this in the Quant Box video this morning, so you can check that out. Okay, I'm looking at this. It doesn't become bullish until we're above that. So I might be scalping this long on a 5-minute. Tomorrow, scalping tomorrow, El Goldo. Yeah. Anyways, sure know what I'm talking about? So not quite yet. Not quite yet. Oil is still interesting to me, even though this narrative is quite bad. All right. Dollar. Dollar. Okay. Okay. On our way to 150, what do you stink? Okay, this is 137. Let's just pretend it's 135. The math is easier. And we're on our way to 150. So 1,500 pips-ish. Yeah. Oh, right on. Boo, 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 boo. So I guess we could mark this. Cool. Now, pig dog's bearish. We know that. We know that from this area here. Based on that information, our target is here. So in the next few days, this might stop falling. Now, the part that irks me a little bit is that September very often goes to S3 or R3. So really, this could be on its way to 122, depending on how bearish you really are. I'm quite bearish on things like Kiwi. Okay, and we'll go out to a daily chart. Okay, seems like that might be a bottom. What do you think? Kiwi's pretty ugly. Remember, I have at least an 18-month bearish outlook for New Zealand. 18 months! 18 years, 18 years. Is that Kanye? Then he found out it wasn't his. 18 years, 18 years. On his 18th birthday, it wasn't his. All right. Yeah. There's that giant X. Remember, on the way up, we were staring this in our face the whole time. Notice what actually happened. It double topped on my X. Remember, I drew the X when we were here going up. I'm like, be ready for the X, and I put the X there. And, holy smokes, all the way back. Funny, I got euro dollar a couple of times. One of them was a cat, I believe, at some point. So very risk off. Very, very risk off. So we did the stock market. We did commodities. I think we did dollar. And we did yens. I guess we're done then, huh? Euro, sure. Okay, target 106. The same target, nothing's really changed. What's your advice on a small account? Let's say $5. Don't trade. So innocent, I would use a demo account. So I'd go to tradersway.com and open up a demo. and I would get a second job. Okay. I would save $88 because I doubt you'll get a better education about trading and investing for $88 than Investor Bootcamp. I really don't. I don't think there's anything out there that's better at that price point. So I'd recommend that to you. I'd get a second job. I'd open up a demo account and trade on a demo for 2 or 3 or 4 years. And I would invest a little bit of money into education. Okay. That's right, Milos. Yeah, I already covered that. Yeah. So that's what I do. There's a very specific process to go from poor to rich to wealthy. Okay? There's a very specific process. Okay? So how do you get out of this area? From turning $5 into $5,000? No. If you're lucky, you'll make money with it and then you'll lose it. Because you're not doing anything that will make you rich, actually. You have to break the poverty trap to go from poor to rich. And there's a process for that. But you're not going to be able to turn $5 into a sustainable business. The way to get rich is have a sustainable business. It's very difficult to go from poor to rich, but it's easy to go from rich to wealthy. It actually gets easier as you go along. So you got to work on the things that will break this poverty trap. Okay, there are a couple of strategies that I'd recommend, but what I just recommended to you was save your money, defer your pleasure, invest into your education, and start to develop the mindset that will move you from poor to rich. And right? And if you can do that, the process of moving out of poverty and towards positive cash flow, income, money, gets easier and easier. It's the inertia in the beginning is terrible. Very, very few people go from poor to rich. And then of the people that do it, very few actually stay. They make a bunch of money, 3 years later they're broke again because they don't have they haven't built a foundation to go from rich to wealthy. And so there's very specific strategies to do that. Mikhail says, is this in a training course? The strategies to go from poor to rich to wealthy? No, but I'm I'm working on a book idea that would do this. It's called The Cipher and the Cyclops. Oops, Cyclops. Yeah. So it'll be a book. It's like how to go from poor to rich to wealthy, living a healthy, happy, and balanced life that is rewarding. It's a very long title. It's a, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be good to know to do it, yeah. Yeah, will you narrate the audiobook? Yeah, actually, that would be fun. That'd be a fun project. Not on this microphone. I'm very disappointed with this microphone. My other one was way better. Apparently, this is the #1 microphone for podcasts. And it sounds terrible. Maybe, well, the next one was like $1,000. I'm like, I'm not going to spend $1,000 on a microphone, but maybe that's the one I need to get. Well, my other $200 microphone worked fantastically. So maybe I'd just go back to that. But yeah, an audiobook, yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, light it up, huh? Yeah, let's get smoke. So anyways, so are you into this idea? How many people think this actually should be a book? Really? I'm trying to figure out where to start. I have about 6 or 7 books in my mind that I intend to write. Is that right? Innocent says, I'm thinking maybe of trading small lots. I agree with that. Where you bank small profits. It's a failed business. That's a failed business model, Innocent. It just doesn't even make sense. But the small lots, absolutely. Kit says it'll be the modern day rich dad poor dad. Years ago, I remember I had nothing to do, and I found the book, or was given the book, or bought the book. I can't remember, but I had a copy of it. I was at actually a science Olympiad competition, the state championship. Both my children, not together on different teams, but both my children were in the state championship. And so we had to run back and forth. One was doing, my daughter was doing rocketry. My son was doing engineering, bridge building. And I was a coach on one of them. Anyways, so I remember to fill the time as I was running back and forth, I read it, and it was a fable, and I hated it. I'm like, oh my God, this is written for children, rah, rah, nothing but negativity, right? And then as years have passed, because I don't know, that was 5 years ago or something, I'm like, well, maybe it makes sense. If you're trying to reach a broad audience, it makes sense, but I wouldn't write the whole book in a fable. So I thought about that, and and then what is a fable? Well, it's a very historic, way for us to learn as humans. We share stories, that highlight in simple, very often oral ways, where we tell this story around a campfire, let's say. A nice simple story that's easy to visualize in your mind, and then it ties up with a moral. The moral of the story is, well, it's an interesting way to start a book idea. You're like, well, what is the point and what is the storyboard? If you storyboarded the book, ideally, if you're teaching, there's a framework in your mind that the reader very quickly and easily adopts so that they can follow along the storyline. There's nothing worse than a movie. Like, we've all seen movies and TV shows where you look at each other and you're like, do you know what's going on here? You're like, no, nobody knows what's going on. And, so the audience has to follow along, right? So I'm like, well, if you started with a fable, a simple, time-tested story with a moral at the end, then as you go through the real book, let's say, there's always in the back of the reader's mind the framework of the fable. So then I'm like, I like that. So I wrote the storyboard first, and then I thought about how I can borrow from human, what we already know to work in human narrative history, the fable. And I can learn from, for example, I can borrow from the idea of the tortoise and the hare. We know that's a framework we understand, and that we can borrow from that and leverage it, change some of the topic, but not the idea. And therefore, then when I go through the rest of the book, you can always understand, oh, cipher or cyclops, cipher or cyclops. And then you remind yourself, what is the moral of the story? Because the moral of the story is the goal of the book. And the goal of the book is, well, the way that you would organize your life so that you reach your goal. Okay? James says, yeah, really appreciate the insights of, never described it as a fable. Well, it is a fable. It's not like he actually had a rich dad and a poor dad. Okay? Right? So it is a fable. Again, that the whole book being a fable bugs me. So then I thought, I will just borrow from the idea of a fable to lean on as a way to take, like, the way I write. How about this? The way I write is like technical. Okay? Boom. It just hit me with the facts. And then I rewrite the book and I use my typical sort of humor and visualization because my background is in neuro-linguistic programming. So I'll say what I'm going to say. Then I'll go back and pepper it with visualization to connect some dots using a different part of your brain than the logic. But then if I can go one step further and pull everything, glue everything together with the moral of a story, then I'm like, you know what, that's actually, to me, it's reachable, accessible information. Something like, You could read it and say, dude, this is a good book, and you give it to your kid. Now, your kid might be 40, but you're like, son, you need to read this. Okay? And it would be an open, accessible book. From that, I think I can write more specific, like, of course, I started poor, and I'm rich, and I'm working on wealthy. You see? So I could write an entire book on this, and I can write an entire book on this, and I suppose you could write one on that. Where you can compound. And for most people, what we need to do is get you from poor to rich. But you know what? There's a lot of rich people in rich countries like America. There's a lot of rich people that are just not going to be wealthy. They don't know how to become wealthy. So I can just say, well, why don't you just go to Harvard and get a master's degree in finance? And they'll teach you how to be wealthy. Well, people don't do it. Why? Well, it's nearly impossible. Or they don't know, or they can't, or all these different things. But what's happened is they've gone from poor to rich. But they haven't broken any cycle. Becoming wealthy is a generational change. If your grandchildren are now wealthy because of what you did when you were rich, you've changed the world. You've changed your bloodline, which means for you, your kids' kids, and beyond, after you're dead, the destiny of others have been changed. Well, being rich doesn't do jack. Okay? Having a lot of money doesn't change anything. So there's a strategy, there's strategies, there's things you need to do. But until you have money, there's nothing that can be done. So you have to go through this process. Anyway, so it seems like an interesting book to write. Well, I appreciate that, St. Kit. St. Kit's. Kit Clouds. Oh, all right. All right. Well, I got to get to it. I've been staring at 5-hour chart or 5-minute charts for 2 days straight. So I got to hurry up and continue to do that. Maybe do some writing, maybe do some reading, maybe do some conference planning and some party planning. And then maybe I'll get to the book, but then at 4 o'clock, I have my swing trading group. So we're going to do that for 2 or 3 hours and plan out all of next week. Cool. So I guess we'll start with this book then. Interesting. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. Maybe join Investor Boot Camp. Maybe you start using QuantBox. Are you double checking your trades using TradePlans.ai? It's free, for crying out loud. Have you signed up for TradePlans.ai? Okay. And an innocent, go to tradersway.com and open up a demo account. It's free. Cheers. Have a wonderful day, everybody.